Because every time I turn around, it's a technical difficulty, honey. I'm about to stop turning around. Welcome to episode 3 of It's Ashante. And today we will be talking about how we can regulate our nervous system even further so that it actually gives us power. Most people are trying to build wealth from dysregulation. To put it plainly, you cannot build anything really internally or externally with a dysregulated body. More times than not, survival mode will produce motion and not legacy. Survival mode will produce motion and not progress. I know some people like to say, oh, any progress is progress. No, sometimes you're going nowhere fast. And it's important to regulate yourself in a way that when you take steps, they're sure steps. God does not rush. So neither should you. Anything that is rushed is misaligned. Imagine not being confident enough to be like, you know what? I know this is mine. I know this is for me. And so you're rushing, trying to prove a point when really, if you really are confident in what you can achieve and what you can have and who you can be, you will sit back, relax, and move regulated. With that being said, a lot of people may feel as if regulation is softness, but really, regulation and being regulated and having a regulated nervous system is actually command. It shows confidence. So, lately, I have been making a lot of new friends. I've been in a lot of new rooms, and most of the people that I've met show their power through being regulated and not reactive. I've asked people, like, okay, how did you react when this and that happened in your career? Have you ever had a moment where you lost it all and had to get it back? All of those people gave the same exact answer to an extent, not verbatim, but to an extent. And it was, I regulated, I relaxed, I took a deep breath, I took time to regroup. It wasn't, oh, I felt the need to hurry up and rush and it was, I sat back, I analyzed, and I made sure steps to get myself back on track, or I made sure steps to make sure I kept myself on track. And I feel like since they're regulated and they move slower, those same people tend to choose better and receive more. It's almost like no shade to anybody, but it's almost like rushing into a marriage just to say that you're a husband or a wife. Why rush? Because if that's not who you're meant to be with, it's going to end in divorce. So again, regulation. Word of the day, regulation. Give gratitude and thank God every time I say the word regulation. Great. We're on segment 1, you guys, and I feel like this is something that I've truly had to force myself to learn, because I'm telling you right now, if you don't learn how to regulate, God gonna teach you how to regulate, and sometimes it's not the best of lessons, okay? What I found was regulation is actually capacity. So whatever you've heard about what regulation truly is and getting that nervous system under control truly is, and if it's any definition other than capacity, it's probably just somebody trying to clickbait or rage bait or get some views or get some comments or get some likes, because at the end of the day, the bottom line of regulation is capacity. A regulated nervous system is your body's ability to stay present under pressure, respond instead of react, and be able to hold more, that capacity, be able to hold more without collapsing or forcing something. On a biological level, regulation is your body feeling fully safe. So that goes back to episode 2 when I said just being cool and calm and collected and letting your body know that you're not in any real life-threatening danger. On a psychological level, regulation looks like your mind being at ease, not overthinking, not catastrophizing and thinking like, oh my goodness, worst case scenario. That's not regulation. Regulation is thinking clearly, thinking calmly, and being able to find a worthy solution versus worrying about the worst that could happen. Regulation on a spiritual level is trusting God enough to know that it will be handled. You don't have to control, you don't have to interfere. It's about having full-blown faith and trust that things are going to work out for you because it is the birthright given to you by God. So, when it comes to you trying to regulate yourself in order to manifest material wealth, you have to understand that material wealth requires you to have the capacity to hold money, to hold opportunity, and to hold visibility. So that's, you get famous and you know how to carry yourself properly. You get the money and you know not to blow it all. You get the opportunity and you know when to take them and when not to take them. Because being unregulated can also cause you to not only miss opportunities, but take on opportunities that really aren't meant for you and really don't speak to your soul because you just want to jump on an opportunity. When it comes to manifesting spiritual wealth, you have to know that that requires you to have the capacity to hold on to faith. So, knowing when to sit back, relax, and allow God, and also silence and also obedience. It's not always a show. Growth is not always seen in real life. Sometimes the growth is internal, and that shows up when you're able to be silent and not feel the need to show others the type of growth that you're embodying, and also being silent enough to even be able to hear God and hear instruction and what your intuition is telling you as far as how to maneuver in a worldly sense. We always sit up here and say, like, oh, I want to manifest this, I want to manifest that, I want to have this, I want to have that. But then we forget that there are laws of nature, there are universal laws, and there are ways in which things have to happen in life because God said so. It's like saying, I want a baby and think you're going to wake up tomorrow and pop one out. You still got to get pregnant. You still got to carry it for 9 months. You still got to go through labor. There are just laws of life and laws of nature that you also have to um, adhere to when you're trying to achieve anything, whether it's internally or externally, because at the end of the day, you show that your nervous system is regulated when you understand these things. And when you understand these things, that increases your capacity to receive certain things and not self sabotage certain things. Imagine wanting to be also spiritual, but then now you're walking around with a God complex. Like, self sabotage. Imagine you want to be also wealthy and now you're walking around just giving your money away to everybody and not having any boundaries on when and where and how to say no. God is order, not chaos. Regulation is order, not chaos. God is peace, not pressure. Regulation is peace, not pressure. God expands your capacity gently, not violently. Same thing with regulation. At the end of the day, if you don't feel like you're floating around trying to achieve the things you want to achieve, then you're probably a bit dysregulated. That's not to say that some things you want to achieve don't require some level of stress, because you do have healthy stress. But there are times where you could be doing a whole lot of hustle and bustle and not receiving the results. That sounds like, one, either you're dysregulated, or two, you're not following the laws of nature and how things work, or you're not necessarily following, but you're not reminding yourself of the laws of nature and how things actually work. Me personally, I've realized that I sometimes still struggle with being dysregulated and wanting to achieve things and realizing, like, okay, I may think I'm being very productive and I may think I'm getting a lot of things done, but for some reason I'm still not seeing the results. So in those instances, I try to check my energy. I wanted to start this podcast months and months and months and months before I even put out my first episode. I literally have been wanting to do one for years. Got the equipment, and I was running into issue after issue after issue. And I kept asking myself, why do I keep running into these issues? So I regulated, sat down, got quiet, deep breaths, prayed. I said, God, what's going on? Like, give me a sign. Like, what really is the issue? I'm doing everything you told me to do. I bought the equipment. I hired a mentor for help. I've done all the things. I've written everything down in this book, like sorted out my ideas. What is the problem? And the problem was my energy. The problem was I needed to freaking relax. And I learned that once I took that internal pressure off myself, that took the pressure off my nervous system, and then things started to work out. I started realizing that my slower decisions actually started to make an impact and actually started to make a difference in the things that I wanted to achieve. When I was doing the most and putting in the most effort, it's almost like you doing too much, babe, and you still ain't got it. And like even like let's just say, okay, the pettiest example I can think of is I hope I ain't ashy, y'all. Am I ashy? The pettiest thing I can think of is uploading a reel, right? Imagine taking all this footage for the past couple of days and I upload a reel and it take me an hour and a half to edit it and all of this stuff and it gets 3 views. Meanwhile, meanwhile, I got a reel with me literally looking into the camera, looking out at the camera. It's a boomerang and I put a few words over it and that reel has done better than most of my extravagant reels have done combined. Like sometimes it's just less about effort and more about energy and the energy that you're embodying when you're looking to achieve certain things. I've noticed that I've never lost when I've slowed down. I've only ever gained when I've slowed down. I've recently done a full blown reality show, and that opportunity came into my life when I just was like, you know what, skip it. I'm over it. I'm over everything. I don't even care to be viral on TikTok and Instagram and stuff no more. And I don't even care. And then a full blown popular national television show reaches out to me. As soon as I said skip it, I ain't doing all this extra effort. Insane. Insane. I've learned that, when I slowed down, I just didn't lose opportunities. And when I slowed down, the right opportunities just started to come to me. And honestly, I've turned down opportunities as well. I've been in situations where I've had people reach out and say, hey, do you want to work on this project and do this and do that? And again, in me slowing down, I was able to listen to my gut and feel how I felt on the inside and be like, yeah, nah, maybe that's not for me. And I've actually turned things down. So, some very specific tactics that I've applied when maneuvering and making decisions and trying to regulate my nervous system is I always pause before responding. Always, always, always just take a deep breath and pause, sleep on it. Give it a day. Pray to God. And sometimes I pray to God and I'll have an answer within 72 hours or less, if not absolutely immediately. Another tactic I've used was delaying making a decision when I'm emotionally charged. Like if I'm super upset, or in this case, getting a new opportunity, I'm super excited about it. Um, I let myself kind of peel back, sit that neck back a little bit, and then I'll make a decision because again, when you're too happy, too sad, or too excited, too mad, whatever the case may be, when you're too much of anything, you want to hold back on making decisions. Another thing that has helped me regulate myself before making decisions is actually naming what I'm feeling versus overthinking why I'm feeling that way. So imagine somebody comes to you with an opportunity and you thinking to yourself like, oh my goodness, what if this goes bad? What if this, what if it's that, da, 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 da. Rather than overthinking why you feel a certain way, just say, you know what? Right now I'm feeling nervous, or right now I'm feeling unsure, or right now I'm feeling too excited, and I'm going to allow myself to come down off of that initial feeling before I make a decision or before I talk myself into jumping. Some specific strategies I try to hold on to while keeping my nervous system regulated is one, if my chest is tight, I'm not deciding. If my chest is tight, if I'm feeling a sharp pain on the left side, I'm not deciding. I'm a calm down and relax first. If ever I felt rushed, I took that as me being tested. Like if someone is contacting me and like, hey, you gotta let me know quick. I need a decision. Blah, da, 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 da. Hold your horses. Hold your horses. Cause now your energy is seeping over into mine. Now I'm feeling rushed. And I felt like the moments where I was feeling rushed to make a decision were the moments that I was being tested the most, because it's like, what happened? Well, how are you still gonna make a mindful decision when the pressure is being put on you? Or are you going to rush into a decision because the pressure is being put on you? And sometimes people do come at you with excitement, and people do use that as a tactic to trap you. Either way, when you show them that you're able to peel back and say, hold on, let me think about this for a second, that kind of shifts their energy as well. And they be like, you know what, you're right. Let me cool it. Let me calm down. One thing about it is your urgency is not your intuition. It's completely different. Your intuition, you feel safe in it. You feel sure in it. It's almost like a knee-jerk reaction, the first thing that comes to mind. Urgency is usually a decision that you're making based off of a fear of missing out, or heightened emotion. Your intuition will always feel like a safe decision, whether it's to move forward or to peel back. You always kind of feel like a sense of um tranquility and calmness when you're making decisions from your intuition versus your urgency. So with all that being said, let's talk about speed, right? And how your speed and your urgency can either amplify your alignment or amplify your error. So for example, let's use hitting the lottery, for example. Let's say you hit the lottery and you're in an energy of groundedness and you're cool, calm, and collected. You're going to be able to make the proper decisions. You might say, okay, well, I hit the lottery. It's November. Let's wait and cash in the ticket in January because I'll probably get a better tax break. And you're thinking logically. But let's say you hit the lottery and you're in a urgency energy. You're gonna be like, you know what? It's November. I hit that boy. I'm about to go ahead and cash it in. Can't wait to buy a house. Can't wait to buy a crib. Can't wait to do this. Can't wait to do that. But when you're in a sense of cool, calm, collectedness, you're like, okay, I'm gonna cash it in when I get the tax break. After that, I'm gonna pay off my debts. After that, then I'll purchase a home. After that, then I'll purchase a car. Or I'll set up life insurance. I'll set up trust. I'll set up business before I go and I'll take care of my basic necessities and needs, and then invest in myself, and then put a little something to the side to have fun. But when you're receiving things, when you're in a sense of urgency, that speed is only going to amplify the energy you're in. So sometimes it's almost a blessing in disguise that things are working out for you based off the energy that you're in, because yet again, let's talk about capacity. If you receive something when you don't have the capacity to hold it, you're going to lose it anyway. And let's talk about, listen, been there, done that, babe. Horrible. Collected my t-shirt, will never go back. I've learned that when you build things, the foundation has to be solid. The foundation has to be grounded and secure. It cannot be frantic and urgent and full of chaos, because Lord knows you will build things in that energy, lose those same things, and now it's a bummer, and you weighing heavy on yourself because you didn't have the capacity to hold it and to keep it. Regulation, especially regulation through God and regulation through just, cool, calm, collected, and just getting that in your body, like feeling the regulation in your body. It's intentional, it's precise, and it doesn't panic. It's just something that feels very, very safe. It'll feel like second nature, like just popped out the it'll feel very safe, like second nature, like just popped out the coochie. This my mom, I'm laying on her chest safe, like newborn baby with the mama safe. One thing about clarity is, again, you don't want to chase it, because even chasing the clarity can come off as urgent, right? You want to regulate and allow the clarity to find you. If at any point you feel like you're chasing anything, you have to ask yourself, why is it running from me? Because it either is not for me, or I am dysregulated and I need to relax. You have to understand that once you train your nervous system to trust God and not control outcomes, not only will the journey be way less heavy, but things will seemingly, if not actually, just fall into your lap. And that's not to say if you want to accomplish a certain thing that you just lay on your back and wait for God to just plop it in your face. But it just says that, again, when you relax, the opportunity will present itself for you to take inspired action versus you feeling like you have to hustle and bustle to achieve anything, babe. They want you to feel like a hustler and a bustler. They do. They want you to feel like you got to get up every day and grind it out. They do. You know why? Because they need worker bees. And that, listen, before I go off in a tangent, because that could be an episode for another day. I'm telling you, stop operating out of fear. Stop operating out of hustle. Those are low frequency emotions. Learn how to sit still and not move until your body and your spirit feel aligned. If your body and your spirit don't agree, it ain't time to move yet. When it comes to material wealth, money flows to individuals who are able to tolerate uncertainty without freaking out. It flows to people who can stay calm during expansion, people who aren't, you know, spending it just as fast as they're getting it. And it also flows to people who can lead without force. Because, I mean, once you get to a certain amount of worldly and monetary wealth, you're going to need help. You're going to need a team, believe it or not. So it's like, can you lead these people and can you guide these people without force? Do you want your team to be urgently, frantically, and chaotically handling your books? Or do you want people who are cool, calm, collected, grounded, and thinking clearly to be handling your funds? When it comes to spiritual wealth, you have to understand that if you're not at peace, then you have no faith, you have no trust. Peace is a part of spiritual wealth that lets you know that this is my evidence of trust. When you are at peace, it's because you fully trust. Something bad happens to you or for you and you're just, okay, it's fine. You know what? It's cool. It was probably for my highest good. I'm sure it was for my highest good. That type of peace shows that whatever it is you're dealing with and going through, you trust that this is something that happened for you and this is something that in the long run is going to elevate you in some way, shape, or form. Stillness is also a spiritual skill. So imagine, and that's another reason why I've learned to start keeping stuff to myself, because I would tell people something I want to accomplish or something I want to do. Because again, this podcast, I've been talking about it for years. I used to get on the internet and preach on Instagram every day with a listen up message. If y'all remember that, I'm gonna bring those back. But I used to want a podcast. Well, I wanted a podcast years ago, and it just took me up until now to start it. And because again, I had to learn stillness. I had to, let myself kind of sit back, relax, and bask in building myself before even starting this. And I feel like when you tell people like, yeah, I got this going on, I got that going on, I want to do this, I want to do that, and they notice that you ain't making a move, and you trying to tell them like, well, I'm being still, I'm being still. Oh, baby, something about telling people about your goals and you're in your still season, that baby, what a skill it is to be still. Cause let me tell you something. People be looking at you crazy like, okay, so why you still sitting there? Why you ain't got started? Why you ain't doing this? Why you ain't doing that? And it's like, babe, God told me I gotta be still. Like I have all these great ideas, but I gotta sit down for a minute. And to piggyback off of that obedience, that ability to be still when told to be still, and that ability to move when being told to move is far easier when you're regulated. When you've regulated that nervous system, when you're in a regulated body, when you're grounded, when you're thinking clearly, it's so much easier. And I feel like a lot of people have trouble with that, which is why when I be telling people like, yeah, I'm chilling, I'm being still right now, they can't believe it. They can't believe it because again, that obedience is very, very easy in a regulated body. And if you're talking to somebody who isn't regulated, they gonna be like, dang, girl, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night if I was you. And they're like, yeah. 4 seconds in, 6 seconds out. Take a breath. There's a certain sense of power that comes with regulating yourself, because at the end of the day, if you feel like you have to control a situation, you subconsciously feel powerless, which is why you feel the need to overcompensate by doing more. And by doing more, you're not necessarily always putting yourself ahead. That type of authority comes from coherence. It is mind, body, and spirit all aligned. Now we're making a move. One of the three cannot be out of whack if you want to be successful, whether that be, again, worldly, in a worldly material sense, or in a spiritual internal sense. You have to be sovereign. You have to be, let me stop picking my nails. You have to be sovereign, you have to be steady, and you have to be present. All right, so boom, it's time for the wellness tip, because again, I just ran my mouth and you're probably like, okay. How do I achieve this level of regulation so that I can feel like I am walking in regulated power? Well, one thing I like to do to regulate myself, and again, this stuff may sound difficult at first, and it is something that requires practice, and it is something that requires you getting used to, but like just as easily as you could say WTF, sooner or later you'll be very much so able to put these wellness tips to use, like it's nothing, to the point where you eventually won't need them. You won't need these wellness tips for the rest of your life, because again, you'll be able to regulate your system in a way where it's able to just automatically go back to regulation. If ever you are thrown out of whack, because you are human, you're going to be thrown out of whack sometimes. But the point is to not stay out of whack. So one thing, well, it's a huge tactic, but this group of things that I like to do to regulate my nervous system help a lot. So if ever you're feeling overwhelmed, step one, you want to look around the room, see what's going on, right? You want to just slowly look around the room and just become more aware of your surroundings, right? And you then want to be like, okay, what are some things I can see? And you want to name 5 things you can see, right? And then you want to keep looking around the room. And after you name 5 things you can see, you want to name 3 things you can hear. I can hear cars outside. I can hear the wind. I can hear my tenants stumping and slamming doors. I can hear them gossiping next door about somebody baby daddy, like whatever. What do you hear, right? Then you want to notice something that is supporting you in your body, right? So if you're sitting down, that would be a chair. If you're standing up, that would be the floor. If you're leaned over on the wall, then that would be the wall. And then after that, you want to allow your body to just relax, and you want to drop those shoulders, because a lot of times we carry a lot of tension in our shoulders when we're freaking out, and you just want to make sure you drop them shoulders. And what this does is um it just keeps you present. There's no affirmations, there's no let me talk myself out of it, mind tricks, none of that. It's simply reminding yourself that you're present and to be present. And these are tactics that you can always use when you're on edge, before praying, meditating, journaling, um, or when you feel like you're on the verge of overthinking or attempting to over control a situation. Just if you don't do anything else to regulate your nervous system, um, always learn to be present. You always want to take it day by day. And if you can't do day by day, hour by hour, and if you can't do hour by hour, minute by minute, but the more present you are in the current moment, um, the easier the journey feels. And at the end of the day, the present is all that matters. The things that have happened have happened. You can't do nothing about that. And the things that are to come, well, they ain't here yet. So let's just focus on where we are right here, right now. And that is something that will always keep your body at ease and your mind at ease and your spirit at ease, because they all have to be at ease. Dysregulation ain't nothing but a form of acute or even chronic anxiety. And anxiety is often your body just thinking that you are in some real danger, like you are unsafe right now in this moment. So when you use these tactics to orient yourself, You are letting your body and your nervous system know that you are safe right here, right now. You don't have to rush right here, right now. Everything's fine right here, right now. You have to understand that it's going to be hard to receive divine instruction or be able to trust your gut and your intuition if you are not feeling safe. If you're feeling threatened in any way, your body is focused on survival and surviving, and it's not focused on hearing what you need to hear and feeling what you need to feel. It's focused on, should I run or flee? It's not focused on, okay, here's the solution to my issue. Which goes back to, again, just being present without the affirmations, because at the end of the day, you can't regulate your body by trying to say things that will convince yourself that you're safe. You have to show it. Show your nervous system and show your body that you're safe. And you can do that by, again, looking around the room. 5 things I can see, 3 things I can hear, relaxing my shoulders. I'm supported by the chair, by the table, by the counter, by the door, by the wall, by the floor. You're supported. And when you actually show your body that you're safe, then you begin to feel safer and safer and safer, to the point where you don't have to like extensively do this tactic every single day, all day. Always let yourself know, I'm safe. God is with me. I'm here. Also, regulation is you coming into agreement with God. It's not hustle, it's not bustle, it's alignment. Regulated people notice opportunities, they don't miss opportunities. Presence sharpens your discernment. Be present so that you can now discern. And safety creates receptivity, meaning I'm able to receive messages, I'm able to receive gut feelings and act on them. I'm able to receive a solution versus focusing on trying to survive and not die. Regulation is not a trend, right? This is something that you have to embody, and it's a leadership skill, it's a wealth skill, and it's spiritual discipline at the end of the day. And when your nervous system is regulated, you don't just build wealth, you become someone who can achieve it and keep it and hold on to it. You've built the capacity to get these things and keep these things. That concludes this episode of It's Ashante. And I just wanted to let y'all know, if you haven't relaxed yet, it's time to start. Start regulating that nervous system so you can get on that project and do what you got to do. Okay? Bye.